as you know, some chaps killed in this work, and the anxiety, I'm told, increases to its maximum during this course. And from that time onward, you, the fellow that they pointed the finger at, come face to face with the threat and with what you have got to do to meet that threat. Well, there are risks inherent in the handling of explosives, even when they're in the most safe. And you are going to go into a situation where they are in the most unsafe condition.
This is a job few of us would want. Dave Evans, rank sergeant, married, 2 children, age 27, pay £3,000 a year.
Did you volunteer to become a bomb disposal expert?
Not a bomb disposal expert, no. Ammunition technician maybe, but not a bomb disposal expert, no. This is sort of one of the sides of the job, or aspects of the job, they don't tell you about until it comes around, you know.
Bob Steele, rank warrant officer 2nd class, married, 2 children, age 31, £3,500 a year.
Volunteers, a few. Most people say it's because if anything went wrong, you'd have to live with it. If somebody tells you you're going, then you go.
Tony Hicks, corporal, married, 1 child, aged 20, £2,600 a year.
No, I didn't volunteer. I was volunteered, so to speak.
Nigel Thorne, captain, married, 1 child, age 27, £3,500 a year.
I think the general feeling is that no one really wants to go. However, I ended up on the course, and of course part of the work of an ATO is bomb disposal.
Good morning. As you all know, the job of the ammunition technician in Northern Ireland is a difficult one, carried out under extremely tense conditions.
They've all been detailed off for a course that will send them to tackle bombs in Northern Ireland. But before they start the course, they are tested by an army psychiatrist and a woman psychologist.
Our aim is to ensure that you're not only physically fit, of which we're quite certain, but that you are also free from any serious personality weakness.
Like most people, they react to a psychiatrist with mild paranoia. They're alarmed at questions like, do you like putting your feet into furry slippers? And they're inclined to challenge the psychiatrist.
If the test does prove you to be a man liable to break under pressure, that's bound to affect your whole career, I'd have thought.
What happens to the extremely anxious person that doesn't get sent because of this? You don't do him any good at all, you know. You just make him more anxious.
Yes, the question that was bothering me was, in education, is it more important to, and the first choice is give the child enough affection. Then there's the in-between answer, and the third choice is have the child learn desirable habits and attitudes. Well, I regard both A and C equally.
With the same hours and pay, it would be more interesting to be a carpenter or a cook or a waiter in a good restaurant. Well, you know, this is question number 26. I mean, I've never done any cookery. I've not done any waiting in a restaurant, and I haven't done any carpentry. So, you know, what sort of answer would I give to that?
The course takes place somewhere in England in a fiercely guarded ammunition depot. Familiar surroundings to the trainees, they're all from the Royal Army Ordnance Corps, all used to working with explosives. Conveyor belts convey shells in the Ordnance Corps' scheme of things, and trains haul lethal cargoes into underground bunkers where the storerooms are pregnant with high explosive. The Ordnance Corps Museum displays 350 years of improving killing power, from the cannonball through red-hot shot to the armor-piercing warhead with nylon fittings. Some of these breakthroughs must have been as pleasing to their discoverers as penicillin was to Fleming. But the lectures the bomb disposal men get here teach them not how to take life, but how to protect it, particularly their own.
We've got an example here. This particular one blows off as soon as the lid is removed. Of course, we don't really like to go and just take the lid off a box in that way. So the chap can conceal everything so that when the bomb is picked up, it blows up.
If you look in a car, you could hide quite a considerable amount of explosive in a car without it even showing. Places like door panels, inside, in the window arches, bags and bags of space, behind seats, stacks of room, under seats. This one's not as good for transporting explosives as the others because this is sponge. Behind the hubcaps, also favourite place for carrying detonators, small amount of explosives. So you could put, say, 250 pounds of explosive in this car without it even showing. But what I'll do now, I shall show you the effect of 1 pound, 1 ounce of explosive on this car. Stand by!
Quite frightening, quite frightening.
That was just £1.
Just £1.
What might you be dealing with, a normal amount?
And, well, they've had up to, what, £1,100? £1,100.
Half a ton.
And so it goes on.
One of the officers who was killed was called to a car bomb parked in a grotty little side street in Belfast. He walked up to it with a high-powered torch, and as he was about 10 feet away, it went up. Another senior rank, killed in similar circumstances by explosives in a drum placed in bushes beside a country road. He hooked and lined them. He went up to them, to this drum, and started to pull out the bags of explosive. He found some loose detonators there. He called out to the chap who was with him about 30 yards, 40 yards away, "We'll have to hook and line it again," and with that it went up.
Since the Ulster troubles started, 12 bomb disposal men have been killed. That's approximately 1 out of every 20 involved.
I suppose you expect to lose a few. They're there, you don't forget them. And I met a friend of mine today who was injured out there, and that's even more. That drives the nail that much harder because he bears a few scars. That's a reminder. But I don't really think you need this sort of imagery to keep you aware. I mean, you're not going there really to come back alive. You're going there to do a job, and if you do the job properly, you will come back, unless luck is against you.
Have you talked a lot about him going?
Not very much. We did at the beginning, but we don't talk very much about it. We try to ignore it.
Do you think that the situation justifies his being sent?
Of course, yes. Because I think he goes to protect human life. And in my point, if he would only go to protect property, for instance, a hotel to be saved or a department store, I would say it's pointless.
When you arrive in Belfast, do you expect to be frightened?
Yes. I think so. I shall certainly be on my toes the whole time. I'm making out all sorts of sheets and checklists so that I do follow a set procedure myself.
In the crucial final exams, Nigel has to deal with a bomb planted under a train.
Captain Gunn, please. Captain Gunn, Captain Gunn.
Captain Gunn?
Captain Gunn.
I'm Captain Gunn.
Right.
Yes.
The others act the parts of local troops and witnesses.
Mr. Porter.
Here, yeah.
Mr. Porter, have you seen this Sedley Road?
Yes.
Where is it?
It's under a railway wagon.
Where?
Under an engine, in fact.
Right.
Exam nerves aren't helping.
Okay, Captain Gunn.
Certainly.
Captain Gunn. You've just arrived.
I've just arrived, yes.
And have you done anything about a cordon or not at this stage?
No, I pulled up just when you did. We must have
Right.
got
Okay.
tasks at the same time.
Like you do, cordon off. And
Tony arrives 5 minutes late.
200 metres.
Yep.
Do you want a complete cordon?
Devised in the Army's equivalent of the small back room, this robot is called Wheelbarrow. Nigel and Tony control it from behind cover.
We've got a jam already up there.
But as yet, they're learners.
Flick the cable. Don't go up there. Flick the cable. You can't get it. No. All right. Mind the cable. Keep the cable. Keep the cable rack, that's right.
Among other things, wheelbarrows carry a gun to defuse the bomb by shooting through its mechanism without exploding it, and a TV camera to look at the bomb.
Firing.
The bomb is defused. Nigel has passed.
Inspector, and the ground troop commander, please.
Bob's test is a device laid beside a strategic road in open country. An instructor plays the part of the earnest policeman who's found the bomb.
We won't waste money. Yes, I'm going back in now to deal with this one. The situation is the same. You will get, in all probability, a very large bang. Yes, you may well get a moderately small bang. Don't worry yourself about the size of the bangs.
Right, sir.
At the end of my first action, I will give you 3 bibs.
Again?
If anything untoward occurs, I will contact you on the radio.
Right, sir.
And if I manage to carry the whole system through, 1 long blast.
Clear.
This means your men can come from cover, but must still maintain cordons. And then if you will join me here, I would appreciate it.
Very good, sir. Very good indeed.
Thank you very much indeed. Right, yes. Bye-bye. Right.
What's going on?
Discuss.
I don't know, I've just arrived. Were you late? No, to walk all the way from the main gate up to here. That's why I'm a bit lazy.
Does that mean you're in trouble?
I doubt it.
Come on.
After checking for booby traps, Bob decides it's safe to go to the bomb. He's carrying a mock-up explosive charge and trailing an electric flex. On his first try, the flex snags, and in full view of the examiners, he has to run for cover.
Did you check what the cause of the snag was? Did you?
No, I ran straight back. He doesn't know either.
He doesn't. He just snagged
No.
it, was it? All right. The crucial time is when you can see it and it can see you.
He goes through it again, and a small pop announces that he's successfully completed his exercise.
If you're ready to cope with the real thing now.
Ah, well, this thought struck me at tea, that as of tomorrow, they're real. And I'll think about that for a couple of weeks, and I'm quite sure when the time comes I've got used to the idea. But if they're all real, then you can't go wrong, can you? If you think they're all real. I think, you know, believe you me, when I was running down there and my wire snagged, that could have been the biggest bomb ever laid to me, because I could have panicked. I like to think I didn't, and I ran back. But when I was down there, that was real. That was no bag full of sand to me.
Dave's test simulates the most nerve-wracking task, the manual approach. Even when the robot has initially defused the bomb, the man still has to dismantle it and check for booby traps. A mistake might mean death in a real situation, failure in the exam. But he passes. End of course drinks, and by now they're almost enjoying a bit of morbid anticipation.
Hopefully they give you plasma and not a blood transfusion. Yeah.
A quarter of them, including Tony, have failed. The rest will soon be in Northern Ireland. As their chief brigadier Dutton confirms, for bomb disposal men it's the hottest place in the world.
I chaired an international terrorism convention last November, and we had most of the, shall we say, the peace-loving countries were there. And it's very interesting, in fact, to see that everybody faces the same problem, because it's so easy. The methods of making bombs, the methods of using car bombs. But at that convention, nevertheless, the convention lasted 3 days, and from the start of the convention to my closing address, and I included this in the closing address, we'd had more bombs in Northern Ireland in those 3 days than all the other countries had had in the previous 12 months put together.